This lesson is just going to be factoring review, going over the different methods. We're going to first look at when you have a trinomial. Trinomial is 3 terms. So there's a nice process for that. And this example right here helps with you coming up with the factoring. So the first thing you do is you look at the last term, and you want factors of that term that will add together to give you the middle term. So think about when you FOIL. Let's make this darker. When you FOIL, what happens? You take the first, outers, inners, last, and you add those outers and inners together to come up with the center term. So what you can do is, like they did here, thinking of your factors of a negative number as one has to be negative and one positive. We also have a nice little trick if it's a minus minus or a plus minus. I know my two factors, one must be a plus and one must be a minus. It's the only way you can multiply two numbers together to give you a negative number. If you have two pluses, then your factors are two pluses. Pretty easy. And if you have a minus plus, that up here, then this is two minuses. This first case and the last case are where you would take your factors and truly add them together. So this case and this case, you truly add them together. And then the other two cases, you would subtract your two factors. If you're not paying attention to signs. I know that doesn't make sense. Let's do some examples, and maybe it'll be more clear there. So if I do the first example, two factors of 7, I know my signs both have to be pluses. There are only two factors of 7, 7 and 1. They add together to give me 8. The next one, I have a minus plus. A minus plus means that I have to have two minuses. So with two minuses, two factors of 10 that add together and give me 11 would be 10 and 1. Looking at the next one, I have a plus minus. A plus minus means I have a plus and a minus factor. So if I look at how I was trying to explain before, I'm looking at two factors of 90 whose difference would be 1, because the center term has to be 1. So two factors of 90, 9 and 10. Which one has to be positive? The bigger one, so that when you subtract them, you get a positive number. Again, I have a plus minus, so I'm going to have a plus minus factor. I'm looking for two factors of 12 using the same process I did in the prior one that add together and give, or subtract and give you 4. Well, it's not going to be 4 and 3. It's not going to be 1 and 12. So it has to be 6 and 2. Which one has to be positive? The greater one, because my center term is positive. So I would continue through these next few, see if you can do them. There's just 4 of them. And as you're doing them, you can pause the video, or you can continue playing and watch as I complete them. These last 2, I shouldn't have said for you to complete all of them. These last 2, you actually have to take into account the first term as part of your factoring. So now you have to position the factors 5 and 1 in a place where you're going to get 2 as a difference. And then make sure that it's negative. Same thing here. Where's the 5 and 1? These are both pluses. Where's the 5 and 1? Because that's the factors of 5. Where are they going to go so that FOIL added together will give you 11? And really all you can do there is trial and error. Page is a special case, is a difference of 2 squares. And hopefully you recall that a difference of 2 squares is a plus and a minus. And you just take the square root of 9, which is 3. Square root of 64, 8. The next type of factoring is using a greatest common factor. So you look at the 2 factors that you're given, or the 2 terms you're given, and you look to see what common factor could you have. So in 5x squared and 5x, well, 5 is a common factor, and there's an x in both terms. What's left over after you pull that out is what goes inside the parentheses. 6x, common factor, x plus 11 is what's left over. You try the next 2. And hopefully you were easily able to do that. The next page is dealing with when there's a negative in front of our x squared. So the first thing you want to do is pull that negative out as a factor. So basically what's left over inside is just everything changed to signs. And then you should be able to factor that just like we did on the prior pages. 2 factors of 50, whose difference is 15. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. It's a minus plus, so there are 2 minuses. Apologize. So I'm looking for 2 factors of 50 added together give me 15. And that would be 5 and 10. And the last one, rearrange it first so that the x squared is first. It's just a nice way to start. Then factor out the negative. Now factor out your GCF, which would be 3x. And you have x minus 5 inside. Your homework is attached to this PDF. When you submit both in the notes and in the assignment. So you could submit the notes now. And then when you finish the homework, submit it in the assignment. And that's it.